Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Call It Crew, and welcome to another episode of Call It What It Is. Jessica, what are we diving into today?
We're diving in to a pool of icks.
Icks.
What kind of icks have you? What's the past tense of dive? Divin? Have you
Have you
dove into?
divined? Dovened.
There's a lot of pools of icks out there. There's a lot of people who do
Yeah.
things that just don't sit right with us, and they're all different. And some things rub us in different ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes some things don't rub us at all. Sometimes rub us too much.
Too much. This got brought up. This got initially talked about on the pod because we were talking about our dating experiences. And I was talking about someone that I dated pulling up in a convertible. And it was an ick for me at the time. It felt super showy. And so it kind of spurred on this whole conversation of we need to dedicate a whole episode to just plain old icks. We all have
What
them.
grosses you out? What does someone do that turns you off?
Yeah, it makes you want to vom all over yourself.
Opposite, yeah, opposite of a turn on is a turn off.
And you guys came the balls through
Oh
on
my
this
gosh,
one.
they fucking brought it.
Oh my
They
God.
brought it.
We are. Oh my God.
Luckiest people in the world. Like, what is it? We don't even have to work. You guys do the work for us.
You guys, the submissions today are absolutely incredible. And I agree with some of these. I'm like, we'll get into it, but some of these I definitely agree with. One of them is just so weird to me. Anyway, well, we're going to get into it. But before we do, Jessica, if you're in a dating scenario, do you know off the top of your head what like a standout ick is for you?
Well, Camilla, you pointed this out before, that my younger years were in the 1800s. And
Yeah.
so a long time ago would be me remembering dating, which
It was hard. Was the Black Death a
have to
turnoff?
just pull the cobwebs away. Well, pardon me, did I miss an insult?
Was the Black Death a turnoff? The plague?
Not as bad as the bubonic. Bubonic?
Bubonic plague. That was a turnoff back
Yeah,
in.
that was a turn on. It was just so dirty. It was just so
Yeah.
icky. Yeah. Yeah, it was icky, like death icky, not even like gross.
Yeah, they were dead. They were just flat out dead. So it was a little bit of a turnoff.
Okay, so back in my fucking yesteryear when I dated, yes, there were definitely things. And you know what? I do think it's worth saying this because when we get these incredible submissions, we don't have an age attached. So I don't know how old some of these people are, but I definitely feel that I was way more judgmental and had a longer list of icks when I was younger.
I don't know. You're not out on the dating scene right now. So maybe if you were forced to be, you would be icked out.
My ick list would be long.
We've been shelved. We've been married, shelved. And so the icks are like, it is what it is. We have a ring on our finger. It is what it is. And we got to just swallow that ick. But if me and you were out on the town,
Shit,
right?
You're not wrong.
I think my icks would come back.
Well, all I know is that when I was dating, I had things that were just like non-starters. And so some of the things that people wrote in, I absolutely are on my ick list. It would not even be, my answer to their query is hard no. Like it would just stop the date. It would stop the date. I would truly like excuse myself to the bathroom and maybe phone a friend and be like, I got to get picked up. You got to join us.
Well, for me, if someone was like very boastful on a date or ate with their mouth
arrogant know-it-alls.
arrogant know-it-all, mansplaining, done.
Yeah, no, done, and done. Yeah, I was pretty definitive about when it was like, yeah, it was not, there was no 3 strikes rule. There was 1 strike. Bye.
You could smell a strike. You'd be out. You get a whiff of a strike and you're Ubering home.
Yeah. Well,
For
back in
sure.
the day, there was no Uber.
No, we're taxiing home. We're going to the bar. We need our flip flown Motorola's. No, we're like, no, I mean,
go to the
back
corner
in
where the
day,
payphone is.
Yes, back in the day, no dating apps. You didn't know what you were getting into. There was no profile for you to really look up, right? Okay, the person's coming. They're in an Ed Hardy shirt. That's an instant Motorola flip, call a cab. I'm sorry. Just flip that bad boy right open. I'm out of here.
Flip it closed. It was a flip.
Close.
Close. Clap that thing
Close.
closed. Clap it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. I feel like there are also certain tattoos that are like, I do love a tattoo, but if it's kind of like almost that flamey tattoo kind of look, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, I
Sort of
think
like a,
between the Ed Hardy reference and a flamey
yeah, and
tattoo,
it's a
you just there's just like
flamey.
there's a certain guy I'm imagining this
Yeah.
is a no-go for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a no-go.
We can get into what our icks are at the front of this, so we can do that. I can tell you what my icks are, or we can
I
wait.
think that you should say what some of yours are, and then we'll get into the cruise and we can talk. That'll,
Okay, okay.
spur some more for us.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that for me, the arrogant or the know-it-all is a no-go. A really big one that obviously you'd have to get a little deeper into the pool, into the relationship to know if this was going to
Mhm.
happen, but not flushing the toilet. I really find that gross. Guys who don't flush the toilet. Ick.
Yeah, that's gross.
When people are rude,
Yeah, I mean, that's standard. No one's like, God, I'm really turned on by this.
I don't know. Some people find because some people that are rude are perceived of as powerful. And some people like
Mm.
that. And I'm no. If you're rude and inconsiderate of other people,
I take it back. Yeah, that's some people are into that. Yeah.
I think that would something that would dovetail onto that or be in that wheelhouse would be if people were confrontational or like wanting to get into fights. I've dated a couple of those where I'm like, what the f is
Mm.
happening? Why are
Mhm.
you yelling at that person for being in like your pathway when it's a public walkway? Like, what is
Mhm.
happening? Okay, yeah. So another one, I feel like I think you could definitely group mine together. When people are super loud, like attention seekers, like
Ugh,
in a big group when they're like
the
all about them, or
worst.
they're like, "Blah, blah, blah." They're
The
kind of like, I mean, I
worst.
guess it's a little bit that bro culture, just like
Yeah.
the like hard, like I love guys who've got, a brotherhood and a nice, friendship circle. But I'm the bro thing, not for me.
No, no, no. In fact, if they were like, oh, I've got a man cave, I would
Oh
instantly
no.
be turned off by someone that has a man
Oh
cave.
no, yeah, no, no, no. No, 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 no. I don't like when people are critical. Do that. Why are you doing
Yeah,
that?
I have to say your icks so far though, I feel like are pretty standard. You're like, I don't like it when someone's mean and they make fun of people. Like, no shit, dude. Like, I need you to dig deep in your icks. I need an
You need
ick
me to be
that's
more
like,
specific. I said not flushing the toilet.
oh yeah, no, that was a good one. I think that like if you look like you've spent hours on your hair, it's
Ew.
kind of a problem.
Ew. I agree. I agree. If there's any kind of round brush or blow dryer involved in your hair, Luke, I I don't I can't.
If I can see my own reflection in your hair because the amount of gel,
The sheen.
it's not if it's sheening, that's not going to lead to another date.
No, no, no.
Oh, I also do not like the presumptuous man. The man that's kind of like, you're welcome. Like, this is going further. Like, I want you to like be on your toes. Like, I still do this to Matt. Matt's like, hey, you want to go on a date tonight? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll see how I feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to keep him on
Keep
his
him
toes a
guessing.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
call me later. I don't know.
As though
Maybe.
it's not a foregone conclusion where you're sleeping
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you sleeping? I don't know. Left, right side. We'll see. I like a little bit of mystery still. So no, I don't like Matt to presume I'm coming to bed.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm on the couch.
That just sounds like the bedrock of a stable relationship that you're talking
It
about.
does. It does. I like to make him feel completely unstable. Um,
My girls have a lot of ick things. They
you
do.
do? What are some
Yeah,
of
they do.
theirs?
I think that they think like again, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but there was a moment where I feel that Jerry Maguire and The Notebook are required watching for.
We talked about this, but they were not into it.
Yeah, they thought it was totally cringe. Like, ew, why would he do that? And you're like, that's the most romantic thing that anyone's ever done in the history of doing things on film. And they're like, oh, gross. Wow. And then
Wow.
it'll be like things
Interesting.
where I'll say why, and they'll be like, because it looks like he cares so much.
Oh my
And
God.
you're like,
Oh, see, this is why things change because they want a little they want some hard to get.
talk about mystery.
Talk about mystery, talk about a challenge.
Yeah.
They want to,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I've heard I was in a pitch meeting one time and I was pitching a romantic comedy and one of the executives that was really young, like maybe they were just like letting her sit in on the meeting young, or new, I guess. We were talking about part of the pitch was about how this couple meets and they meet on the street and I'm like, giving the story, blah, blah, blah. And I get to the part where they're meeting on the street and she's like, ew.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, what? And she goes, oh, I would never trust someone that I met on the street. And like the lead up to the story
Mm,
was actually like
hmm.
everybody was bona fide. Like it was like meant, it was a feel good rom-com. It was like you could depend
Yeah.
on it. It was like a bright and sunny, shiny world, right? And she was like, no, I would never, because I only trust people that I meet on dating apps. Meanwhile, for me, I'm like, ew, dating apps, right? Like,
Ew,
oh,
dating
talk
apps.
about
I know.
I know. I used to go, my sister was on one of those at one point a long time ago. And I remember looking through them and I was like, how many guys are going to talk about how like their perfect date is like margs and guac? Like, why is that a thing? FYI. Total
Oh.
sidebar. I'm just saying that for some reason, all people on all dating sites,
Mm.
Raya, Hinge, all of them,
You know what? If they wrote, can I
guac,
tell
guac,
you?
guac.
I just got an ick. If you write margs and guac,
Yeah.
that verbiage, I don't
Yeah.
like the guac. I'm not, the margs I'm okay with, but the guac is annoying to me.
I don't know that I like margs either in this
I don't
application.
know.
You're a grown man.
Margs, yeah, yeah, swipe. We're
Yeah.
swiping.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're gonna have to swipe a lot because I'm telling you, it's a popular answer.
Oh, no. No, no, I'm not swiping left on that.
Yeah.
No.
Is it a phone call?
It
Was it?
wasn't like it was a phone call, yes. And I was so excited, but also like at the same time I was thrilled, but I remember thinking, oh gosh, like this is going to be a fun job for a couple of days, but inevitably this is what happens. This is my luck. Like this thing won't go forward. Like I remember being on set and Dan Fogelman, who created the show and was our showrunner, he was on set and he was trying to tell Milo and I like his ideas for the show moving forward. And I was like, la 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 la. I don't want to hear anything because if this doesn't move forward, like I just don't want to continue to be disappointed. And luckily that wasn't the case.
But listening
Yeah.
to you on That Was Us, which is your new podcast,
Oh yeah.
hearing you all talk about the magic of the table read and the shooting of the pilot, I mean, you did know that you had some magic there. You did know that.
For sure. But I mean,
But you can't tell. I feel like you just don't like. You
Yeah.
feel. I've heard so many people say like there was so much magic, and I have no idea why it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah,
that we as actors, like we feel that way. One thing I have to say, Mandy, that I've always thought is that role. And I want to think of myself as like a confident actor. That role would have intimidated me so much. Jumping in like time. I don't, were you going into it and just thinking like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And just like, or did you have reservations of like, oh my God, can I do this? Because I felt that I would feel that way.
I was so intimidated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing was, when you read a pilot, it's just what's on the page. It's just the first episode. Had I known that the breadth of the show, what the show was really going to be about, how expansive the universe was going to be, I didn't know until the show got picked up and we got that second episode and it was like, oh, we jumped in time 8 years.
Yes.
Okay, we're not telling this story linearly. It's not happening in sequential order. That's cool. But had someone told me at that point, I mean, like, I remember getting this phone call from Dan 3 weeks before we started shooting the second episode. And he was like, so I have this idea for you to play the character present day. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And we're going to go through like a litany of hair and makeup tests. And, if it is unbelievable across the board by any one person, whether it's a producer, the studio, network, whatever, then I think we're all going to like pivot and think about casting an actress who is actually the age of the character. But we'd love to try it. Like, we want you to try it first. And I was like, okay.
Oh my
And
God.
we went through I remember we went through like six, it was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We went through like 6 different iterations of hair and makeup where it was like, this is too old, this is too young, and this is the wrong wig. And this is, and we finally landed on something. And I remember the first thing they made me shoot was a scene with Ron Cephas Jones, like the Ron Cephas Jones. And it's a scene that ended up being in one of the episodes. I believe it was like episode 3. We kind of jumped a little forward. And I was like, this is, you're not only dropping me into being this character present day for the first time, but you're putting me in a scene with like this legend of an actor who is also, 20 years older than me and
Yeah.
30 years older than me.
Yeah.
So it's like he is a little more believably, he was playing older than he actually was, but still I was like, oh my gosh, this is
So
It's a
intimidating.
reverse intimidation.
actually-
Am I old enough
I'm
looking?
sweating hearing this story.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.
It's so great hearing. I mean, truly, your new podcast is so you can hear it in all of your voices, the talking about it, and just the insights, and again, just it's such a peek behind the curtain, and I really enjoy it.
Thanks. Well, but you guys know it's like you are a family. Like you are lucky
Yes.
that you have been woven into the fabric of this like beautiful established thing that is so beloved by people. And it's such a rare thing to find that. It's truly, if you're lucky, it's once in a career, once in a lifetime. And it's and you're so cemented and you're so bonded with these people that you've worked with. I mean, look, you guys are best friends, and it's like your
Yeah.
friendship. You've taken it.
We can
from,
make room for you, though,
you know,
Mandy.
on
We
screen
can
to
make room
off.
for you.
We can make it for you. Don't worry about it.
I will happily be the third wheel. But it's just
No.
like it's
Yes.
it's an incredibly special thing, and it's palpable to an audience, and they sense that, and they
Yeah.
sense your friendship, and hopefully they sense the friendship that we all had on This Is Us, and it's it's just so special, and to be able to continue it in some form or fashion is means the world, because it's like,
So crazy.
when that special chapter and sort of seminal time in your life ends, and everybody sort of moves on to the next thing and their families and all of that, it's like being able to find any excuse to get together again and chat about things is like it's the best.
I know.
There's no substitute for it.
And it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Were you ever pregnant on the show?
Yes, twice.
I was pregnant 3 times, and I had one already. So I was like 3 times, and they never made me pregnant, which obviously they couldn't have never made. You were never pregnant on the show.
I was just,
I mean, your real pregnancy on the show.
yes,
You-
because of us jumping around in time. And at one point in time, my character was pregnant. So we were
Oh,
able to
cool.
sort of,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Although I was
Right.
not as pregnant as I was supposed to be on the show, because I was pregnant with one
Yeah, you're
baby
twins.
instead of with triplets. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
yes, triplets, yes.
But, so that was quite ironic. How did they get around it with you, like shooting with you?
It's so easy for
Really?
us.
Were you in pregnant on the show too?
I was pregnant twice on the show too. Yes.
So you just
yes.
hide it with cool scrubs and lab coats.
It was
and
hide it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like Manny, you gave birth to Gus in 2021.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yep.
Spring. Yes. So I was pregnant. I gave birth in 2020. So we went down for shooting because
Yeah.
of COVID, which was, I know, by the way, I feel you, because anyone that was pregnant during 2020, I feel like this bond
Yep.
with, because it was such an insane time to be carrying a baby.
Was it your first?
No.
Okay, got it.
My
Got it.
second. But totally different
Oh, of
experience,
course.
right? Like that time was so wild. But we went down for shooting. So by the time we got back up to shoot, I was done with my pregnancy. I just had
Oh.
first trimester on the show.
Wow.
But yes. But for you, that's not the case because shows were up and running by the time.
Yeah, we were one of the
you gave birth,
first
right? Yeah.
shows back up and running. It was like we went back in September of 2020, and I was like 5 months pregnant. So it was a really precarious time to be going back to work, because that was like
hard.
full
Yes.
PPE.
Yeah.
Like
Yes. Yeah.
people in like
Hazmat
like
suits.
hazmat suits
Hazmat.
and
Yeah.
and the goggles with the
Totally.
With your own little
shields
kit.
and masks and
Yeah.
yeah, and you're
Yeah.
you're sitting there like, I'm like, wow, I feel so vulnerable being pregnant and
Yeah.
being unmasked and working, and but also I
Yes.
was like, well, we're all getting tested, multiple times a week. I guess this is the safest place to be. It's better than being home and just being anxious
Yeah.
and thinking about things all day. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yes.
It's so strange to think back on now that was almost
It
4 years
is.
No,
ago.
it's like all a blur.
Well, when you talk about
It's
the
all a
return
blur.
to work, I think it's actually so interesting because I feel like top note question for women who are pregnant on shows, if you will, is like, what did you do when you're pregnant, right? I feel like the far more important question was like, what happened once you going back to work after having a baby?
Yeah.
Like that whole the negotiation. Like at least they were all tucked in there, and they were, I'd carry charts, and then as technology advanced, I'd be carrying iPads. They weren't quite as big. I'd be behind counters, but it was after having the baby, the return to work. So both of you returned to work post pandemic with baby.
Yeah. How was it for you?
It was good that I was back
Sure.
at work, but like it was just I found it very intimidating.
Mm.
Because it's like you don't want to on these shows you don't want to like make out with any. I didn't want to like make out anyone because I was like, oh God, I'm gonna bring it back. I have a newborn.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was a little paranoid. But luckily on our show, by the way, there was like we had PPE that we had to wear on our show. It was almost like the safest set
for
to be
sure.
on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But so that was that. But what about for you?
Yeah, I mean the fortunate part was I got about a month off, which I know doesn't sound like it's not a lot of time, but the privilege of being
Yeah.
able to bring your baby to work, I know is
Yeah.
it's truly a
Oh, yeah,
privilege that
wild.
most new parents, it's not even within the realm of possibility. So I'll just start with that the fact that I could bring my baby and I could nurse and he was there with me was amazing. And we only were back at work for about, I'd say like 2 months before we had our hiatus. And then, I had a good like 3 months off or 4 months off before I had to go back to work for the next season. So it worked out pretty well. And I also feel really fortunate to have had like showrunners and a creator and like a support system at work of very incredibly understanding individuals who were all parents themselves, who made it as easy and seamless as possible for me to be there, for Gus to be with me. And it was truly a dream. I was like, oh, so this is the way it can be. And you hear like those stories from other actors who are like, if you're lucky enough to be on a show that's running for multiple seasons, like that's when you should have a kid if you're thinking about having a
this
family.
This reminds me of something, Camilla. What did I say to you?
This is why I got pregnant.
Really?
Honestly, I wouldn't have had kids unless Jessica Capshaw told me. No, she's the reason that I'm tired every day, and I've aged so much. Yes, no. Jessica was like when I got on the show, she was like, Psst, "You have to have children on this show because it's Shondaland." And by the way, they're super, super amazingly
sure.
supportive. I do need to segue because, Mandy, I don't know if you know this, but we have had fans write into our podcast to ask us to help them. And we would love for you to help give some of our fans advice on some of their problems.
Oh my goodness. I will.
So the whole premise is
Hi.
that we are, by the way, the premise, so don't feel too much pressure. The premise is that we are absolutely unlicensed to advise anyone.
Yeah. And we might be terrible.
I'm going to be optimistic again here and say we're going to be great at this. Who wants terrible advice, Camilla? This is not the way. Okay, so
I'm
the premise
just being
is
honest. Like I might say, wow, this is crazy.
she's a wild card a bit.
I love it.
That's true. That's okay. She's
You
a little
guys
wild.
are a perfect yin and yang to each other.
There we go. There we go.
Yes,
So the
exactly.
point
Thanks,
is
Mandy.
that the premise is that we so love helping each other and solving each other's problems that we are creating a bigger friendship circle that you are now part of.
Oh.
And we have asked people to also join us in their, in their travels. And so we've had we've had quite a few. We're super lucky
We've had thousands apparently
to write
This is
in, and
crazy.
and so
Yes.
we're gonna give them our 2 cents. But are you up for it?
I'm game. I'll try my best.
Let's go.
And then the
Let's go.
idea is that we're gonna call it what it is, with love and kindness and as much grace and compassion as is possible in the world. All of it.
I love it.
Okay. Are you guys
Yes,
ready?
ma'am.
This is the first one.
This is the first one. Emily French. Okay, she wrote us on Instagram. She DM'd us and she said, "Hi, ladies. I have a question for y'all's podcast. I was wondering what advice you have for healing after a breakup. I recently broke up with my girlfriend of 4 years. It was my first relationship and so my very first ever heartbreak. And I lost my mom to cancer when I was a teenager, and navigating with this without any motherly advice has been difficult. Thank you so much."
Oh, man.
Emily, well, first off, I lost my mom when I was a teenager too. So I understand what it's like to sort of not be able to pick up the phone and be like, "Mom, what do I do?" However, even without that, I will say that you can kick heartbreak in the butt. You can handle this like a boss. I read a book, you guys, when I went through my I don't know how old you guys were when you had like your first love heartbreak. I was about 22, and I ordered a book it's called A Breakup Because It's Broken. Jessica, you're friends with this
I do.
author.
I know them. I knew them when they were writing it. Yes, yes.
Wow.
It's the best book for a heartbreak ever.
Greg and Amira.
It makes you like love it. I loved it so much that I remember this moment, you guys. I was reading it and my ex was calling me. And usually I would have been like, "Oh my God," and pick up. And I remember, and I'm being like, this is working. I hit decline on my phone and just continued reading. And I was like, oh,
Freedom.
I'm getting over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I see that. And I go full nosedive into the sad. I go,
Really? Like you embrace the sad.
Oh, I literally
You
wear
lean
black.
in.
Like until I'm done with the morning.
Oh, you're in mourning.
Morning. It's,
Interesting.
I think that I skew a little avoidant. Typically, my normal flight pattern is avoidant when things get a little rough. And so when something
Interesting.
truly does completely devolve and break apart, I actually think
Sorry. That's that he might be a sociopath.
My God,
Say
run,
stuff like that. Run.
run.
That's a character in a movie, by the way. That's
Sorry?
not even a real person. Like that's saying that.
You know how the FBI have like a profile of like what a serial killer could be? That's probably one of
Zoe.
that's probably one of the top 5 characteristics.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Have you totally off topic for a second? But did you see the preview for the new Netflix show that Anna Kendrick, Anna or Anna, Anna Kendrick, Anna
Anna.
Kendrick, has where she's starring in it and she directed it, and it's all about having been on the dating game and how it was a real life story where one of the guys.
Oh, yes. No, I've seen this. No, I've seen the documentary.
Oh,
He was literally on the dating game.
and a serial killer.
And he ended up a serial killer. Yeah. And I bet he said sorry.
I bet he said sorry.
Okay. Kaylee said, "Oh, well, we know what generation this is. I'm sorry, Kaylee, about this." He said, "Skibbity," when I gave him a bracelet I made.
Nope.
I'm assuming that you know what skibbity is.
Me?
Yeah. You've got a skibbity.
But it's a nonsense word. It doesn't mean anything. Nobody knows what it means.
For real? Is Luke right there? Because I feel like Luke would know what skibbity means.
Well, it's actually even a little, it would be young for him. It's more the 12, 13-year-old boys that say skibbity. But it's a nonsense word, and it drives the girls crazy because it's a nonsense word. It doesn't mean anything. You can look it up on Urban Dictionary.
That's so
It's
annoying.
just something that they say to be annoying.
Yes. This is a horrible ick.
So he's just annoying. He's icky and annoying. So Stephanie says when they tip poorly at a restaurant.
Done.
I think that I would want to know. Yeah, I would, this would be my side if I really was into him. I think if I wasn't that into him, I would be like, no, we're done. But an ick. If I was into him, I think that I would want to know why. Not that doesn't have the money or is unappreciative. What's the deal? Why are you tipping so little?
Yeah, I think that if the service was the kind of service I used to give, then I understand a poor tip.
You just sounded like a call girl, by the way. If the service
was the kind of service I used to give. No, I'm talking about waiting tables, and it was not a good experience for anyone that I helped. So if this sucks, yeah, I understand it. But if it's a standard dinner, then what are you doing? It's weird.
Deal.
Okay, Megan said, when he has a full-time job, established career, but still lives at home because he wants mommy to take care of him. Run.
Ick to the nth degree.
It's not even just an ick. I feel like it's like a red flag.
Yeah, it's a non-starter. Done. Run. Go.
Here's the thing. When you move out, when a boy this, and maybe I'm going to get the comments all riled up, but I think if a boy like this moves out, that attachment, that situation doesn't end. Mommy dearest is still doing the laundry, or she's involved more with I think it's a red flag.
I think about this as a parent to a young son, and I think about it all the time because I'm like, I'm such an acts of service as like a love language. Like I love doing things for people I love, and that's great. And I don't want that to be taken away from me. But
I know
when you're doing it for your young son or daughter, I guess, but I think it is a little bit more particular to sons in this application. It's like, are you just creating a monster? Are you just creating expectation of your mama doing all the stuff?
It's so hard. It's a catch-22 because as a female navigating the world, we know these boys. I don't want to date this boy. Do I want to mommy this boy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Lucas want to live with me forever? Sure. What's the big deal? Sorry,
Lucas, you live with mommy. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
So Nia wrote in, when he wears his jeans so skinny, you can see every part of his balls. That date wouldn't happen for me.
I don't know. The picture could be from the waist up. You wouldn't know until he walks in. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If there's not a wide shot in the profile.
Oh, then I think I would do like a kickball change and then a moonwalk back out the door.
Oh my God.
Bye.
No, I don't. I don't like skinny jeans on boys. It's not I don't like it either.
Put it in the Ed Hardy bucket.
They don't even have to be like even ball tight. It's just
tight.
I'm not just tight in general. I need it to feel like there's an airflow going on in there, circulation.
Yep.
Okay. Tracy, friendship ick when they pick their significant other over you all the time.
Yep. That's an ick.
Yeah, it is an ick. Sorry, it is. I hate this.
I know.
Okay. Read the last write-in because we have an excellent voicemail
to get to. All right. So rounding up the write-ins, Molly wrote in when he's getting dressed and puts his top on first and then stands there looking like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my God. This is a great ick. Naked from the waist down, just the t-shirt on. That's fantastic. I do see how that here's the thing. When you've been with someone for a really long time, I think the icks kind of go away, right? Like your husband could be Winnie the Poohing and you're like, whatever, like who cares? But in the early days of dating, if I had a Winnie the Pooh situation, yeah.
Yeah. It could be, that's like a phone. As soon as you walk out the door, that's like a phone call to the friend being like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't, I got it fucking edge. I can't
far enough.
The member's far enough. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
Can you ever recover from the ick?
In the instances where I felt that I could, I pointed that out. Like there can be an ick, and then you can get a little detective work and be like, oh, why are you doing that ick? And then you can maybe find out, you could recover. But if it's just an ick that's going on in like forever, no, I can't. It's like, no. Oh my gosh. I had a boyfriend one time. My girls know this, and I don't know why they think it's really funny. Because you know why? Because he's in a movie and they always see him and they're like, hey. But I dated this guy who was like, it wasn't even very, I don't know, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was kind of more like a hangout situation, but we were boyfriend, girlfriend. And we went grocery shopping, and I'll never forget it. We were standing at Trader Joe's. We were like, oh, it's funny.
Ew, what are you for?
Done. We did not recover from that. That was done. That was the day it ended. Bye.
Great
Literally drove home. I couldn't get home fast enough. I was like, bye.
Okay, wait, hang on. I need to know how long you've been dating for before the finger in the belly button.
Even just hearing you say it grosses me
I
out.
know it is gross. I hated saying it.
Yeah. Ew.
Like you'd been on a few days. I'm assuming if you're shopping together at Trader Joe's, like it's been a couple months.
Yeah. No, we've been dating for a minute. I don't know. It was kind of off and on too, but we've been dating for probably around like 3 or 4 months.
Oh my God. And that's what killed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dead.
I do think that I'm not sure you can recover from a lot of icks.
No, I don't think so either. Oh my God. You know what? I just down. See, now they're all going to come flooding
Okay,
back to me.
go. This is what I love.
Another one,
Mm-hmm.
actor dating, and I was actually super into him. He came over for like a second or third date, and he brought 8x10 glossy printed photographs from his last movie to show me.
Shut
Laid him out on my dining room table.
up, Jessica.
I was like, am I supposed to ask for an autograph too?
My soul just left my body. Shut up.
And I was living in this tiny little condo in West Hollywood, and it was like, and it was a big movie or whatever. He was excited, I get it, but it was so ick.
You do that with a girlfriend. With a girlfriend, you can 100% do that. You can be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Look at these stills.
Yeah.
On a third or fourth date.
Yeah.
God, that would have absolutely killed it.
Done. I mean, it was the beginning of the end. Like I said, I was into him, so I let it go a little bit longer.
Okay, I have to add a little bit more then to my date with that guy that showed up in the convertible, the actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a couple more icky things about that date. First off, just in general, I'm assuming he's picking me up to go on like a one-on-one date. He takes me to this big Hollywood party with so many people there at someone's house in the hills. It's not my vibe, right? Like, and he's like schmoozing. Like, I can tell that he's maybe
Did he leave you?
And he kind of left me in the crowd a few times.
No.
Where I was like just by myself. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care that it's Blada Blue Blah's house. Like, who cares? Like, I don't care about these people. Can we just go to dinner? Then we went to go see a show. God, I'm getting so specific. He'll definitely know it's him. We went to a show and he was like, this is the same night. Like, I want to take you to the show to like see this band. Fine, I'll go. Never had dinner. Went to this show and he could sing really well. And he sung louder than the band. And it was very, like, I'm not kidding, in the crowd. The lead singer was overtaken by his voice. And I wanted to crawl into a hole. I was like, oh my God, you want everyone to know that you're an amazing singer.
You're hungry because there's been no food on this date. You've already been to a Hollywood party and now he's
It was just so many
displaying
things.
his vocal stylings.
Yes.
Oh, these actors.
Oh God. Anyway, I mean, the stories that I can't tell some of the stories, but I mean, okay, let's play this voicemail. Let's do it.
Hi, Call It Crew. So I'm also going to put this in the comments, but I needed to leave a voicemail because I feel so passionately about this topic, the ick. I, too, very easily get the ick. And so I need to know that I am not alone in this. I need to know, am I toxic or is this normal? Okay. Number one ick, when a guy only has selfies on his social media. That's weird behavior.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Number two, when they try to make everything, every normal conversation into something sexual, like, oh yeah, about to take a shower. Oh, without me? Like, sir, GTFO. Number three, just overall like rude and thinking that they're better than everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about how much money they have and just trying to flex all the time. Absolutely not. Number four, and I feel so passionately about this one, too much talking during, sexy time. Like, sir, I did not sign up for this survey. Please stop talking. And then number five, when every single girlfriend, everyone they've ever dated was obsessed with them and crazy, because I'm calling fake news on that one. So yeah, those are just a couple. Love the show. Love the podcast. You ladies are doing fantastic. So thanks. Love you.
Oh, I love her. I love how passionate she is, and I love how specific she is. And I agree with all of her icks.
What was the last one again? The last one was
when they think that all their ex-girlfriends were obsessed with them and that and we're totally crazy. I think how someone speaks about their exes is very important because, I mean, chances are you'll be one day, right? Like the numbers are not so.
But the odds are not in your favor for
No,
it.
not really.
I definitely think it's a red flag when someone refers to all of their exes as crazy. I just think that it's like this throwaway. It's not even an ick. It just drives me crazy. I think it's just this very easy way to dismiss an ex as being like, oh, she was crazy. And it's like, well, no, what
Yeah.
did you do? My question is always like, what did you do?
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely really means that they're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Oh my gosh. Well, this could go on forever because there really are so many different ways that we as human beings can annoy each other and ick each other out. So we've shared some of ours. You've shared some of yours. I have a feeling that there might be more out there in the world.
Hit us in the comments, please.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, keep them coming. They're so funny. And I like them because they're giving me more reasons to have icks.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Just a little more critical thoughts out in there in the world. All right. I love you and I love this and I love our crew. And I'm very, very thankful for all of this incredible material. So thank you for making the show. And I think that it's now time to call it
The end
of the episode.
episode.